So if you're just finding this channel for the first time and you don't know anything about the Mandela Effect, or you know everything about the Mandela Effect and you're looking for something new, you're going to want to stick around for this video because this is bananas. The scope and scale of this phenomenon is wild. Alright, so you might have already heard that the Fruit of the Loom logo, which many people believe had a cornucopia in the background, is actually just a pile of fruit. It's never had a cornucopia, ever. You will never find it. It's gone. It's never existed. Or Cupo noodles. Do you remember that brand of instant noodles? Well, it's just cup noodles. There's no O. Or Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. Do you remember those commercials? Well, it's always been owned by Kraft. It's just stovetop stuffing. No Stouffer's. Or the Monopoly Man. Has he always had a monocle? I thought he did. Turns out he's never had one. Ever. Or C-3PO. This is a big one for me. He's always had all gold. Head to toe, he was all gold. Nope, he's always had a right silver leg in the first original movies. Or Berenstain Bears, how is it spelled? I always remember this spelling. Last three letters, E-I-N. Nope, it's A-I-N. Skechers, it always had a T in it. Nope, it's just Skechers. Or King Tut's burial mask. It had a cobra centered in the middle of his forehead. Nope, it's actually a cobra and a vulture. How weird is that? Or what about world maps? North and South America used to look something like this when I would look at it on a map. South America was more aligned directly south from North America. A little bit to the east, but pretty much in line. Nope, it's actually like 1,000 miles to the east. If you fly south from New York City, you're going to end up in the Pacific Ocean. All right, now here's where it gets really crazy. This phenomenon is massively affecting the Bible. In particular, the King James Bible. And this Bible has not changed in hundreds of years, but now it is with the Mandela Effect. People like this Bible because it's considered a literary masterpiece, historically, and it doesn't change. It doesn't get updated. It doesn't get revised. All right, so do you remember this kind of imagery from the Bible? Because I sure don't. And if any of this ever showed up in a Sunday school lesson, a church sermon, or whatever, I would have been asking questions. And this has never come up in my experience until now. So look at this picture. Does anything look unusual about what you're looking at? Jesus and the disciples walking through fields of corn. Now I'm doing this, making these AI generated images depicting this scenery because this kind of mental imagery has never come to mind before while reading the Bible. Now it does. I really don't care what the translation is or what they say. Oh, well, this is just archaic English for this term or that term. I don't care. The words weren't there. I never had to imagine this or ask a question to anyone about this before. Let's read the verse. Matthew 12:1. At that time, Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were anhungered and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. It was grain. It was grain or wheat, not corn. And this keeps going. I mean, really? Really? Corn? All right, let's look at this verse. Genesis 49:14. Iskar is a strong ass couching down? What is that? Couching is a verb? Couch is a verb? What does that even look like? I mean, this is the kind of mental imagery that would come to mind if I read a verse like that. How bizarre. Or this. Luke 5:24. I say unto thee, arise, and take up thy couch, and go into thine house. So Jesus just heals the lame man. And what's he laying on? A couch? And he's expected to pick up that couch and go home? I've never heard this before. I never had to imagine this. I never had to question anybody about a couch being in the Bible. Why is the word couch there? King James Bible. And I have my Bible photographed here to prove that this is what the word is. It used to be mat or bed, not couch. How about this verse? Genesis 31:34. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture and sat upon them? What? What camel's furniture? Camel's furniture. I do remember this scene in this verse. It was like a chest of possessions or something, not camel's furniture. Other translations say it's the camel's saddle. Camel's furniture. How do you get furniture and saddle don't mean the same thing. This is nuts. This is the Mandela Effect in action. Wake up, people. This is changing the Bible. All right, how about this verse? Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found in all thy household stuff? Genesis 31:37. Stuff? Household stuff? Since when did they have stuff in the Bible? It was possessions, not stuff. And this is crazy. Genesis 40, verse 2. This is where Joseph, who was imprisoned under false pretenses, under, by Potiphar's wife, and he's in prison with two other prisoners who were servants of Pharaoh that fell out of favor with Pharaoh, and he had them imprisoned. Who were they? I remember this story. My mother read this story to me many times. It was the baker, chief baker, and Pharaoh's cupbearer. Well, let's look at the verse today. Is that really what it still says? And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers. That's weird. Against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. I put Mr. Belvedere in here because when I was a kid, there was a famous sitcom called Mr. Belvedere, and he was a butler. If there were butlers in that story, I would have asked, a butler like Mr. Belvedere is in prison with Joseph. And here is the actual story that my mother read me. And it has changed. This story used to say cupbearer. When I was a kid and the story was being read to me, this word was cupbearer. The one was the king's butler. It now says butler. The butler told his dream. Joseph asked the butler to remember him. What? This is nuts. The Mandela Effect is changing all of these things. And this is crazy. When the butler was let out of prison, he was restored, the chief butler, unto his butlership. What? What? This is nuts. The Bible is changing. Do you see this, folks? But yet, this Bible here has commentary in the margins, and it still says cupbearer. With no explanation, like you're just going to write cupbearer and not tell me exactly who you're talking about here? Because the Bible says butler, but you're talking about a cupbearer. I remember a cupbearer, clearly. But it's not in the King James anymore. Gone. Now, how about this? This is a well-known story about Moses. When he was a baby, Pharaoh made a decree, to have all the children under a certain age of the Israelites killed. And so to save Moses, his mother put him in a basket, covered that basket with pitch to make it waterproof, put it in the river, hoping that, somebody's going to find this baby and take care of him. Well, Pharaoh's daughter finds the baby, raises him as her own. Okay, so this is about a basket covered with pitch and laid among the reeds. That's what I remember. I remember this story. Well, that's not what it says anymore. Does this imagery come to mind now? Well, it has to, because this is how the verse reads. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark, like Noah's Ark, of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid him in the flags by the river. Ark, slime, flags. This verse has been completely rewritten, and these bizarre words are being included. There's only two arks I know of in the Bible: Noah's Ark and the Ark of the Covenant. There is no Moses' Ark, but now there is. Well, what about this image here? Does this look familiar to anybody? This is the Israelites in the desert. Moses goes up on the mountain, disappears for a while the Ten Commandments are being written, and they decide to make a golden calf because they think he's gone. Oh, well, might as well worship this thing, call it our God. So, golden calf is the key word here. I've never heard of this idol referred to anything else but the golden calf. Well, let's see what the Bible says today, because actually, golden calf cannot be found in 99.9% of the Bibles out there. All versions. It's gone. They have turned aside quickly out of the way, which I have commanded them. They have made them a molten calf and worshipped it. Molten calf. It's not the golden calf, it's the molten calf. What's a molten calf? I don't know. I would think of like lava and some figure of a calf. Yeah. It was golden calf. Period. Now it's changed. It's Exodus 32:8. And this is bananas. I don't know why not enough people are talking about this. What did Moses write the 10 Commandments on? If you said 2 stone tablets, well, that's what I remember, but it's not that anymore. Deuteronomy 4:13, 10 Commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. This isn't just one verse with this word in it. All verses referring to the 10 Commandments now have them referred to as being written on 2 tables. Tables. That's right. Like that. Tables. Oh, it didn't mean that. Well, that's the imagery that comes to mind. I would have said, teacher, pastor, why were the 10 Commandments written on 2 stone tables? Like dining tables? Coffee tables? This is the Mandela Effect, folks. It's changing the Bible. This, I just can't help but laugh. This is hysterical. Exodus 26:14. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent. Talking about the tabernacle here in the desert. Children of Israel are banished to the desert for 40 years, are wandering around. They're being instructed to build a tabernacle. Okay, this is what they're supposed to deck it out with. A covering of the tent of ram skins dyed red, or a covering above of badger skins. Badger skins. You can't make this up. Badger skins. And I looked it up. Badgers are not native to the Sinai Peninsula. So what is God doing? Sending them on a snipe hunt? Yeah, I'm going to have them go out and look for badgers. Really? Badgers. And how many badgers does it take to cover the tabernacle? I looked it up. ChatGPT said it's like 300. You're going to go out and catch 300 badgers that don't exist in the desert?
Badgers? Badgers? We don't need no stinking badgers!
And this is just another hysterical line. It was from Weird Al Yankovic's UHF back in the 80s. And I didn't know he was parodying until I found out later. It's from this old movie.
Badgers? We ain't got no badgers. We don't need no badgers. I don't have to show you any stinking badgers. Better not come in.
That line has changed. That's another Mandela Effect. Badges? We don't need no stinking badges. He doesn't say it. You just saw that scene. He doesn't say that at all. But that line has been parodied. There's super clips on YouTube of people parodying that line over and over and over and over again. And doesn't exist. But yeah, badgers. Okay, let's get back on topic here. Badgers. Is there another verse, another translation that might be a little more appropriate? Maybe they weren't looking for badgers. Maybe there's something else. Something, a little more believable. Well, let's look at some other Bible versions. What do they say? This is real. This is real. This is the ISV, AB, LSB, NASB Bible versions. You are to make a covering for the tent of ram skins dyed red, and a covering of dolphin skins above that. Dolphin or porpoise, it says. Are you kidding me? How are they supposed to find dolphins in the desert? Or how about this? How about these versions? The ASV, ERV, JPST, and thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram skins dyed red, and a covering of seal skins. Seal skins. Hey, why not? Aquatic mammals. What's the difference? One's as good as another, right? Come on. Or how about this? Make a covering for the tent from ram skins dyed red, and a covering of manatee skins on top of that. These Bible versions say manatee or sea cow. This is bananas. Are you kidding me? The Bible's being changed. Oh, well, it's this strange word in Hebrew. They didn't really know how to translate it. I don't care. Who in their right mind would translate a word they don't really understand into manatee in the desert? Unicorns. Yep. Oh, why not? You got all these other creatures in the Bible. Why not unicorns? Isaiah 24:7. And the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls. It used to be wild ox, not unicorn. Why didn't I see little kids drawing pictures of unicorns on Sunday morning? Because unicorns are in the Bible. Why wouldn't they? Oh yes, I'm drawing a picture of a unicorn from the book of Exodus or Isaiah. It's in there. I have a number count for all these words. 9 times. It's not just one verse. Unicorns are in there 9 times. How about this verse? Exodus 34:19. All that openeth the matrix is mine. Matrix. Yeah, matrix. I never had to ask teacher, pastor, or mentor about the matrix being in the Bible. Why is there the word matrix in the Bible? I never had to ask that before because it didn't exist. It means womb. How does matrix mean womb? I don't get it. This is just really weird. Another verse, Isaiah 7:11. Ephraim also is like a silly dove without heart. They call to Egypt. What? Silly? Silly dove. The word used to be simple. I think I even have evidence for this one. Once again in this Bible, silly dove, in the commentary, they say simple. Nothing is more simple than a dove. Well, why are you saying simple? There's not the word simple in this verse. It says silly. Why don't you say silly? Oh, nothing is more silly than a dove. Really? The Bible's changing. But things like commentary doesn't change at times. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Literal translation for this verse. These Bible versions say simple, not silly. There's a big difference between simple and silly. How about this verse? For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one? Job 5:2. Don't be silly, or your envy and your silliness will get you slayed. I don't know. This is nuts. This is the Mandela Effect, folks. It's changing the Bible. What about this? And the other basket had very naughty figs. They could not be eaten. They were so bad. Naughty figs. What? How can figs be naughty? I can see how they can be bad, but bad and naughty don't mean the same thing in this context. The words of the Bible are changing. Jeremiah 24:2. Used to be rotten or bad, not naughty. Psalms 72:6. He shall come down like rain upon the mown grass, as showers that water the earth. Mown grass? Mown? Like with a mower? I mean, once again, mental imagery. That's what I've thought. Would have asked somebody, why is the word mown in there? Oh, it just means cut. Really? I don't think it's the same thing. And this is crazy. Since when are the Israelites allowed to sacrifice turtles? And on the 8th day, he shall bring 2 turtles, or 2 young pigeons. Turtles, pigeons, either one's good. To the priest. Numbers 6:10. Really? Turtles or pigeons are interchangeable in this process of offering a sacrifice? The word used to be turtle doves. Turtle doves. Bible's changing, folks. Another one? You can tell what word it used to be. Judging by that last one, the voice of the turtle is heard in our land. Song of Solomon 2:12. It was turtle dove, not turtle. Turtles don't have a voice. Have you ever heard the voice of the turtle? I sure haven't. this verse, Isaiah 3:18 and 19. Isaiah is kind of rebuking the, decadent ways of the Israelite women and their round tires, like the moon, their chains and their bracelets, and the mufflers. Round tires, mufflers, and manifold is also in this book. So, is this a garage here? What's going on? Why are these words in the Bible? They don't belong there. It used to be like headbands, crescents, veils. Not mufflers. Not round tires. Or this verse. The suburbs shall shake at the sound of the cry of thy pilots. Ezekiel 27:28. Suburbs? They had suburbs back then? And pilots? What's going on? Suburbs, pilots. The word used to be pasture lands and captains or sailors. I think, this verse has been significantly altered. So that's it. I mean, these are some of the most crazy ones where it's just the mental imagery that comes to mind when you read these verses and the bizarre words that are showing up in the Bible that just do not belong in that time period. To me, they're clear evidence that this is the Mandela Effect changing the Bible. So, what do you think about this? Is this new to you? Is it as bizarre as you could have imagined? Because it's getting even more crazy. I'm just waiting for Genesis 1:1 to say, in the beginning, God created mashed potatoes and gravy. And I'll be like, hello, people, look at this. And, the typical response to all this stuff is, oh, well, it's archaic English. It's just metaphor. Other translations do a better job. I don't care. I really don't. I mean, look at these words. They don't belong there. I never had to imagine these things in my mind and ask questions because they didn't exist. So, yeah, for what it's worth. I don't know if this is new to you or what you think about it, but I would love to hear some feedback. Appreciate it.